Welcome back to the Midlife Rebrand podcast. This is episode 18, Our Unique and Fab ADHD Brains.
Welcome to the pod, everyone.
Hi.
I'll let Shay introduce.
So we have Carrie here. Carrie is an amazing friend. And let me tell you, I met Carrie, I want to say 6 years ago, when I had just had my youngest and we joined the running group together. I was going through it, let me tell you. My kids weren't sleeping well. I was a mess. This is somebody you want to know in your life. She was very supportive. She guided me through the early stages of motherhood and gave me that grace. That was just like, you know what? If they're going into your bed and sleeping, you'll be okay. You will be okay. They won't be there forever, I promise you. And I needed that at that time so much because you have the mom guilt. You have everything, societal pressures telling you, don't let them sleep in your bed. You have to get up. And I was trying, but it was not working. But that's Carrie. That is who she is. So
she specializes in ADHD.
I'm an ADHD coach.
Yeah. So give us the full. Hi, I'm Carrie. This is my
Hi,
professional.
I'm Carrie. And I'm a little teared up from that. ADHD in women, ADHD is so great in so many ways. We're empathetic, kind, caring individuals. We want to help. I didn't know I made that impact on you. I was just happy to be with you talking, and we were just being humans.
Wow.
Sometimes, and growing up in school, and we can kind of feel like we don't belong or that we're weird because of our unique brain wiring. But it's just, I feel like we connect differently, but on a deeper level. And at some ages, it doesn't compute, right? So I specialize in coaching ADHD for recently diagnosed adults.
Okay.
I would say that's kind of a new niche for me. I don't try to niche anyone out. If someone was wanting to coaching, I wouldn't say no necessarily, but I would find I was late diagnosed, and that can have some grief to it. But there's also some oh my gosh, yes, that makes sense. That journey. So I was late diagnosed. A lot of times that happens where you go through the process with someone in your family, and then you're like, oh, that's interesting. And I don't know if, a lot of people don't necessarily know, and I didn't till, I started doing the training, that it's 76% hereditary kind of thing. It's almost as hereditary as height.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. My older daughter is also ADHD. And I learned years ago that it was genetic trait.
Right.
There was a good chance that one of the two, if not both, and the older one is for sure. But life-changing once she was diagnosed and put on the proper medication. Not, there's so many options nowadays, which is nice. It was life-changing for her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the world's hard enough for your kids. You wanted to help them as much as you can and make it a little less difficult. And having those diagnoses helps. It says that you're not necessarily different, but your brain just thinks differently. And I think having that talk and having that understanding nowadays instead of back then, it was so I don't know, I felt kids were so put in the corner and you're a boy, that's crazy.
Yeah, behavior issues.
Right? Yes,
yeah.
Or whatever.
ADHD is hyper climbing up the walls and freaking out, right? No, that's not.
Exactly. No, it's not that. And to have somebody to guide you through it too is, I'm sure, so helpful to so many people. And just even looking back on your own experiences, being oh yeah.
Well,
I wasn't
being diagnosed as a late diagnosis probably changes the way you show up as a mom.
I agree.
And a
I
partner.
wish I would have known when I got married. If I would, I try not to, beat myself up, as is not easy to do. But with coaching and stuff, we pick one thing to deal with. So even that, it won't necessarily, that guilt won't ever stop. You're not going to cure ADHD, but if you're going to negative reminisce, or you have a conversation that went wrong, or a breakup with a friend, something like that can derail us because of the sensitivity, rejection sensitivity is real.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's real. And then ADHD, we don't have filters like neurotypes do, that so everything can come in at the same the same intensity. So if we have to go to the grocery store and there's a phone call and you have to pee and you're hot and someone's mommy or something, and you got to get dinner on, or the rice is boiling, you're just like, what? Like, so flash anger is real for ADHD too. But the fact, when I learned about that filter thing, that everything comes in, so it's like, to take a break and just to stop, like it won't, I'm not going to stop that from happening, but just being aware that that is my brain, not me, that you can just stop and take a minute. And, so the flash anger has, and then it has stopped for me quite a bit. But, and what happens then after we do that as moms? Yeah. How do we feel? We feel so shitty after doing something like that. Yeah. So then you don't recover. Like, I find, especially as mom and women,
you
like
roll
we just,
right into guilt.
Yeah.
And with super moms nowadays, and there's so much to do, and so many crafting things, and you can go online and look, and there's so many ways to distract us now.
Yeah.
That we can go into that mode of scrolling and then not feel. Yeah. So it can be a vicious cycle of negative emotions and impact on ourselves, which can lead to like analysis paralysis, and often then we'll get diagnosed with anxiety and or depression, or
So when you coach women who are ADHD, are you often coaching them from a standpoint of unmedicated or medicated, or both sides?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Medication is a whole thing. Like, I'm pro medication for sure. I've seen it work. With my training, we learn that it's 20% of the solution. And it does run out during the day, right? There's so many options. Can, depending on where you are with life, hormone changes or changes in, age of kids, weight can impact it too, right? So it's a bit of anyone who's on medication or whatever, it's going to be a lifelong kind of thing. You always have to maybe know that you're going to revisit it and retry. And it can be a part-time job when you're in that zone. But, it can definitely help the get up and go. It can definitely help, like, finishing a thought, like unloading the dishwasher, but actually then completely unloading the dishwasher.
Yes.
Potentially, right? Like, but then a part of that for me is that to let yourself be okay with that. Like, if you have the dishwasher half unloaded, there's the laundry, and you're doing all this or that, to let yourself just be that way. Like, a lot of my goal with coaching is to just have you feel that it's okay. Like, it's not the end of the world. Who cares if you're a little scattered? Like, what is the major impact if you don't finish that? Right?
Well, and I do love that it's more talked about. It's more accepted, I guess you could say, nowadays, because I will often find that in a moment of rambling or jumping around, I'll just take a minute and be like, sorry guys, ADHD brain. And everyone's like, oh, totally, girl, like, no problem, And it's not like it used to be, where people would be like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like because it's talked about more, lots more women are experiencing it. It's cool to just be like, ADHD.
That's me.
Yeah,
and
that's
for
me.
the opposite, like the shutdown, the quiet, the like, I'm not getting off the couch. I feel so lazy, but I still can't get up and do this. But being like, okay, this is task. Yes, exactly. Okay, this is my brain, and then having some tips and tricks on like starting small or whatever would help you to get up and actually finish a task, or being okay with, that can wait.
Because it's sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's just so individual.
Yeah.
Like, I'm inactive, but I would say I'm a combo type. Like, I am not hyperactive, but I'm cognitively hyperactive. And
explain that a little bit more.
Well, it's the analysis paralysis. It's the, like, before I even open my eyes in the morning, sometimes I'm like, I need to do this, I have to do this, I have to do, and like, so it's just, and then I don't even want to get out of bed. Like, I've already talked myself into a state of analysis paralysis, and I haven't even got out of bed. But we do, I find, mostly. So it's not depression, right? Like, it can lead to over the years. Like, so late diagnosis, sometimes, it's hard to know what came first, right?
Yeah.
Or, so it's having a really good doctor and having someone to talk to about it. But it's so unique to each person. So definitely talking about it. Because you say ADHD brain, and people are like, they understand kind of if they have ADHD, but it's like, I think if we went on the street and asked 10 people what is ADHD, we may get a variety of different answers.
Oh, for sure.
Right? And because
true,
we're
too.
all so unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? And I still hear, we all have a little bit of ADHD, right?
Yeah.
Well, and, I'm sure you guys have heard that too, but having, like, being diagnosed, like, it is a daily struggle. It's not just sometimes you have ADHD, you know what I mean? Like, it is a struggle, right? So, you're totally right. Like, it is more of it's more of a, like, understood, I guess, and accepted. But I do think it's so common of a brain that's been going on for so long. If it's that hereditary, that maybe in 10, 15 years, hopefully, like, it's not even going to really be, it's going to be, I mean, and I'm not a doctor, so, but I just think, like it's going to be a typical brain almost. Like, it is the way, like we're going to learn
be
that
the
way.
norm.
And like, I think it is. It just was misunderstood. And school's the wrong soil for our brain. So, neurodiversity, if we had the same types of resources and centers for just specifically tending to our brains, because school, I just felt, was the wrong soil for our brains. Right.
And I'm really going through it with kids, even myself going through. I mean, we had different experiences, different ADHD, but it was hard. It was so hard. And you don't want that for your kids, but where else is there to go, and what else is there for them? But also just having that acknowledgement that school is not for your brain, and that's okay too. We'll give you the resources we can to help you through. I wish there was a better place for all of these kids to go, that they felt seen, that they felt normal, and weren't put in this bubble and kind of pushed off the side to be dealt with.
It's a tough one for you guys right now too. Because, like, I mean, COVID, I was in the school system for a long time. After COVID, it was just crazy. Like, young kid, like, starting school, they didn't ever learn to stand in line like teachers were having. So I can understand why we're in this place right now with the teachers' strike. But also, I think education is going to change. Like, they're fighting for exactly this purpose, I think. Like, it's a tough one to not have. Of course, like, I just can't imagine right now and how kids are dealing with this, especially kids. That routine is super important.
It's not going well, let me tell you. It's not going well. We're struggling over here. But there's an end in sight, hopefully, and I hope that they do get the resources that they need.
Because it's just understanding, right? Like, it's knowing, like, even I don't think I've had many conversations with women that also went through school, so I'd love to have a conversation with you guys just about you going through school and stuff, because I don't think I've ever really dove into that, because I was late diagnosed with someone else, or just to talk about that with you, feeling.
Well, so I was considered, like, special needs when I went through school, because I was ADHD, ritalin kid. I was separated from my classmates a couple times a day into, like, the special needs classroom to be taught different. Like, it wasn't great, and I feel like my medication was kind of used as I don't know if weapon is, like, the good way to put it, but if I acted out or had a legitimate emotion in my life, it was, well, have you taken your medication today?
Okay,
So I spent my life not having a great experience. So when I weaned myself off of my meds in my 20s and was like, nope, this isn't going to be me, this is not how I identify anymore in my life, I then rolled into postpartum depression, wildly so, and was diagnosed with depression. Spent years and years of medication being treated for depression when it was just my ADHD rearing its ugly head. And like you said, I had a great doctor. Went to him one day after doing so much research for myself and said, listen, get me off of all this stuff. Put me back on my ADHD meds, and life-changing for me over the last 3 years.
Amazing.
But it was a struggle. So for me, when my daughter was diagnosed, it was actually a little like a little trauma driven, right? Like, I had to put, like, my experiences with it aside.
That's hard.
Oh, it was hard. I had lots of conversations with her. I had to, like, do therapy to, like, know that I wasn't going to speak to her the same way that I was spoken to about my medication and my behavior and, like, all those sorts of things. And it was a struggle.
It's hard. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But
like, how do you know whether that's your feeling or to them, right? Like,
exactly.
It's a tough to know, but.
So,
Yeah.
but luckily, lots of open communication, and it has been a different experience. I could go on forever, whatever, but.
Well, there's so many different topics to talk about. It's unbelievable.
It
right?
is.
Like, just even, like trying to know what you want or what you're feeling, like emotional, like in school, the DSM doesn't use emotional regulation isn't part of the DSM right now in diagnosing ADHD in school, which I would say the emotional part is
Yes.
80% of my thing, right? And
yeah.
we feel things more intense, longer.
Empaths,
Yeah.
right? And we feel it for other people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the rejection sensitivity, but then the negative rumination and the negative self-talk, like it can be debilitating for sure, and to not understand it.
Yeah.
So the emotional part is a lot of times where we end up going with clients, I would say, like we will end up like, okay, I need to be able to take the garbage out thing.
Yes.
You know, so
yeah.
we talked earlier about being lopsided. Like, I've helped people who run their own companies literally figure out how to take the garbage out sometimes, right?
Well, yeah,
And
because,
so,
you don't have time to do it, but then if you don't do it, you're like, why is the garbage giving me such guilt?
Yeah.
and why? Because it will take like 10 seconds. Do I not do it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and there is reasons, right? Like, so we can go, but that's, again, there's just so many little conversations we can have about that, like the brick wall that goes up when we just don't want to do something.
Yeah.
That it's like not exciting, or it's a new thing that we don't know how to start.
Yes.
Which is why I think it's awesome you guys started a podcast,
Yes.
because like it's well done just being here with like.
See, I would with my ADHD never would have happened. Thank God for yours, because we.
It's a good blend between
it is
the hyper
definitely.
and the
inattentive.
I'm inattentive more, I would say too as well, but like.
No, it's been a great mix, a good push, and then a good like, let's go back a little bit and let's.
Yeah. Well, and what I think is also great is when two ADHD people come together, even though I kind of drove this initial podcasting venture forward and you sat back a bit, I've had some big life changes happen for me where I've now been the one who's kind of in the task paralysis, in the overwhelm, and she's stepping forward. And I feel like, when you're two ADHD people and you find a balance, it's easy to then like supplement each other where you need once you understand.
And I feel like for friendship, and I've been through this, I don't know if you have too, when you have that paralysis, people are like, okay, they're not my friend, I'm gone. Yeah. Or there's like that big, like, you're not stepping up, why aren't you not? There's that big misunderstanding where I'm like, I just need a couple weeks, a month, like I can't be who I was till I figure out the thoughts in my head and get things organized.
Yeah.
So we let each other have that time.
Yeah.
Like, even if you say, like, I'm going to be doing this and something happens and you step back, I'm okay to step forward. Like, it's not, I get where you're coming from. I get that you can't just sit and do a little email that's so little, because right now there's so much going on.
Yeah.
So it's
the ADHD emotional overwhelm that you talk about is
well, and having the ADHD part, we can pay attention, but sometimes to 100 things at one time, maybe that's a lot, but like 25.
It feels like that. It feels like 100.
When, especially in environment where there's music playing, or there's emotional things happening. There's a couple fighting in the corner when you go to a restaurant or something. You know what I mean? You're picking up. So I can relate to that too. Like, because we input it all, and again, if there's not those filters, so then we have all this input but not output. So then we need to. It took me a long time to be okay with when I go sometimes on a vacation or a big social event for a few days. I would come back and just kind of crash. Excuse me, and I would beat myself up about that. And now in my 50s, and I'm kind of, or just understanding my ADHD, I schedule that in now. So I guess that's a question I have for you, because I love the conversation you guys just had. Like, how much do you think it helped with your relationship, you understanding your own unique brand of ADHD in friendship?
That's a good question. I think understanding where my anxiety and social paralysis comes out and hers goes forward made me feel more comfortable to do something like this, because I know if we do our event or something like that, it's not all on me. And that is a huge relief for me, that I know you'll step up and you'll thrive in that environment where I'm not that kind of person. Like, oh, I'm going to enjoy it, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to need that time the next day to like fully like decompress. It's going to take my energy away, where I've seen you in event or just gatherings and you're out there and you're gaining energy, where for me it takes it all away. So understanding that part and knowing that she knows how to push me a little bit has been huge in this venture.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I just feel like because we have an understanding of each other and we have ADHD together, we have the same vision for this podcast and what we want to talk about and the audience we want to impact, and just knowing that it's going to happen. Like, this isn't going to be something that's just going to fall dead in the water.
No, we want women out there to know that they're not alone. And you feel so alone in your diagnosis for so long. And even if, like, everyone has that friend that they're like, oh yeah, I'm ADHD and I take my meds sometimes and not all the time, like a couple times a week. That would never work for me, ever. Like, the type of ADHD I have is life-changing. Like, it's every day that I'm figuring out new ways to deal with it or not deal with it, or like, that's a lifelong thing that I'm learning, not just, oh, I don't need to take it today, but I still did all of this stuff today. I could never do that. So I think we both want people to know that you're not weird, you're not different, it's just the way your brain works.
Yeah, and it doesn't look the same for everyone.
No.
Well, and even right now, what's happening, like, you're diagnosed as a child. We weren't, right?
No, I was the quiet one.
Yeah.
Like, I was the one that was left behind and forgotten because I was the good one. I listened in school. I didn't cause a ruckus. I didn't do anything. But I did not get the material at all.
Either. Yeah.
And
I didn't do well in school, but I didn't cause a ruckus either. But
I did not do well in school at all.
Well, I failed and caused a ruckus, so go me.
But you're more educated about ADHD, like, in a way, like, or you're more versed, like, because, you know, if we're talking to, you know, people that are on the fence if they're going to die or self-diagnosed, right? Like, you've had that as a child. So right now I find I'm meeting lots of adults that actually have been diagnosed as a child in school.
Yeah.
And so it's an interesting, scale right now. Yeah. Whereas we're getting women in our 50s, 60s, 70s that I'm talking to that are just being diagnosed, and things are making sense and clicking, and why has my house been like this, and why did I
isn't that sad? Yeah. Could you imagine, like, I mean, I feel like it's better late than never,
but there's generational trauma there that if it's 78% or whatever, huge hereditary, then there's generational trauma there with the flash anger. You know, it could be a dad, it could be a mom. They didn't know. Nobody talked about it way back. Like, the ADHD,
and had there been more information back then, their lives could have been so much more enjoyable. Maybe.
And it wasn't because it wasn't there. It's been there the whole time. But if we were in a situation where we were hunting and gathering and, you know, taking care of our homestead and those kind of things, like, we wouldn't have a not unique, like, our brain would be perfect for a scenario potentially like that, right? Like,
that's what Alana spoke about too, the hunting and gathering. It all kind of, like, reverts back to, like, where we originate from, the caveman.
Yeah, and that's just, it's scientifically proven. There's parts of our brain that are different, or like smaller, different, you know, but it's not wrong. We're born like that, so there is a purpose for it. And the interesting thing is that we're all just so unique. So that's why I asked about that, like, how important that is, because I just feel, for me, and I'm still learning too, but to be able to communicate that with someone, like, I just need a minute, right? Like, I used to, so this is another topic that is interesting that I've been trying to learn more about, the sensitivity to light, sounds, textures. Like, I've had, you know, I'm totally sound triggered. I didn't, like, I kind of knew that at the time, like mouth noises. So there's more research being done on that too. Because
all the TikToks, but it's like, I can hear my husband breathing. Why do I want to kill him? Right? Like, that's it. That's that right there. No rhyme or reason. Maybe you're ADHD brain.
But how do you, right? So just being aware and being, like, I always, like, being curious, not judgmental for ourselves, because we can be so judgmental. And just saying, okay, so now, like, do I have some in my pocket right now? Like, I have earplugs with me all the time now. There's some in my bag, but I have a pair of earplugs all the time. And my sister said that she and her husband both have remote controls now, which I think is a great solution. So it's like finding solutions. It's nothing wrong, but it's like to find that solution. So if my husband's got the TV and he'll walk away or do something, or he's eating chips, you know, I used to, you know, so now I'll just put my earplugs in.
It's so funny that you brought this up, because a lot of times I'll be like listening to a podcast with my big headphones on. My kids are going crazy, whatever. I turn off the podcast because I was talking to them. And then I didn't realize I didn't turn the podcast back on for half an hour, and I just had the noise canceling headphones on, and I feel so much better with all the chaos and the noise around me. Like, it's just like, I can deal with you yelling at your brother and the TV loud, because it's not like I have the headphones on. It's so weird. I can still hear them, hear what's going on, but it's not that level that's causing me to get that anger and being like, okay guys, enough. And
Overstimulation into the flash
Overstimulation's huge. It wasn't that long ago. Like, there was a car alarm going off, and I was about, like, I could lose my shit because car alarm's going off, and then I stopped and said, okay, that's interesting. Like, flash anger. Yeah. And then very hard to recover from doing that in public, or, you know, something like that, you know, so then that puts you down again. And
you think about it for the next 10 years. About that one time that you lost it.
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, and like, you know, however many years ago, if you were to have an episode like that, overstimulated, flash, that's it, just lobotomy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, right to the loony bin.
Like,
but you tell a best friend.
Yeah.
You tell them, oh, don't worry about it. It happens to everyone. Parenting is hard, you know, so, but we won't do that to ourselves. So again, that's even another thing. Like, there's so many layers to this. Yeah. And so many emotions that can come from it. But yeah, like, having these conversations is just because, like, when parents tell me their kid has ADHD, I'll say congratulations. Yeah, and congratulations. There's a different, because it is a beautiful thing.
If somebody came to you, like myself, say, who is just overstimulated by everything, like I saw this TikTok just last night actually, and it was like, if ADHD overstimulation was a meme. And it was a picture of this boy in like his winter jacket, and his sweater was tucked up underneath the jacket. And I was like, oh, yes, absolutely, yes. Like, so someone like me who's overstimulated by everything, sounds, physical touch, textures, like all the things, what would be a coaching tip you'd be able to give me that would just help me kind of like rein it in those moments?
So the interesting thing about because everybody's so individual, it would be having a conversation. Like, where does that start? If you are overwhelmed, were you overwhelmed before you even put your jacket on? Were you overwhelmed before you got out of bed? How did you sleep?
Oh, probably
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and crap.
Yeah, you know, but I would say within a 45-minute to an hour coaching session, the magic happens every time. But it's just connecting and asking questions. So if it was just that I just can't seem to get back on track with something, and I'm not organized, I can't get out of the house in the morning without forgetting something, and I'm overwhelmed and I'm about to cry, you know, I'm like, well, it's what's changed in your life? Yeah. What's different? Like, so with us, our unique brain, sometimes with the overstimulation, like if change, September, starting school, going from nothing to going back to work, going on vacation, coming back from vacation. Postpartum depression, I don't know, I'd have to look at the stats, but I would say if there's some evidence out there, like I would think, because I had mild postpartum depression too. Yeah. And I didn't know, so to add that on top, but I think that potentially women with ADHD, I would think it's higher than neurotypes to have it, right? And I couldn't hang out with women that were like, oh, this is awesome, this is great, and I'm like, okay, we can.
No, I was a mom who was like, boob was leaking in the middle of the coffee shop, and like, just like, like just losing it, like all the time.
That's that your whole life has changed. For me, if I know what's happening day to day and I can figure it out, I don't have anxiety, and you have this baby and your whole life has just changed. My anxiety is through the roof. I was not coping. I was, it's insane.
So then in that moment, like, so overwhelmed, like, to stop and take a breath. So when I was doing like 7 to 10 deep breaths, not just 3, not just 1, 7 to 10 deep breaths to get yourself grounded, because that's amygdala hijack, right? When we start to freak out. So just take a minute. No, it's not you. It's your scientific brain.
Double chin breathing.
Oh yeah, like some double chin. Yes. Nervous system reset.
Yeah.
And to ground yourself. So I, often I find it works for me, the 3 things you can see, feel, and touch. So like you can feel the your shirt on your shoulder right now. Like we can actually feel the hair in our head. It's weird to think about that, but yeah, you can, or just like, so to get yourself right in the moment. So that was a big one for me, is the practice of being in the moment.
So 5 to 7 breaths, and then 3 things that you can.
7 to 10 breaths about, and then 3 things you can see, like that bright light and you, and like just get yourself in that moment, ground, like into reality, right? Some people would say like, touch this, but look at this, like look at, oh yeah, it's ribbed and it's got these different, oh these are different, like get right into the what you're looking at, look at the texture, look at the thing, bring yourself right into that moment.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Because I think you've heard, like, you guys are women that love learning, and so we've heard tons of things. The only time we can be the most creative is in that exact moment. But how do we get there and stay there?
Yes.
With ADHD and overwhelm and the sleeves snapped up there. So I would say, take a breath and just say, I'm going to be okay, right? So a lot of questions I will ask if there's something that I'm just derailed, I can't do this. When was the last time you felt you did have that situation where you felt good? And what worked? What were you doing then?
Yeah.
That worked. And so we kind of go back, because again, we've all compensated and got to this place where we're sitting here right now and raised kids and have houses and have like
but we survived. We didn't thrive.
Yes.
Oh, look at us. We didn't. Well, we don't feel that way.
It's
right?
Guilt.
Yeah.
We don't feel that way. So the muscle memory is a huge part with ADHD, and the coaching that I found is outstanding is that to replace those negative feelings, because it's so easy to feel that and we feel them deep. Okay, so let's stop and let's replace that with something that you feel proud of. Let's replace it, but actually feel that in that body, because sometimes we don't, we're so up here, we don't connect to here. So a lot of the work can be depending on the client, but muscle memory, bringing it back. And I would say that over the course of 2 to 3 months, if you practice that specifically daily, it will change. It will be better. Like, again, we're not curing ADHD, but the more we understand it and give it grace and understanding and give ourselves grace that we didn't know at the time, or that we, nobody knew we, spent 18 years in the wrong soil for our brain.
Yeah.
And, with all this different impacts. And so it took a long time to get to the place we are right now. So it will take a little bit of time to unpack it.
It's changing the behavior.
And to get that glimpse of light, to get that glimpse of hope and to feel it for a little bit, you'll get back to there. But to give yourself I'm feeling really terrible right now. I didn't have a good, that social situation wasn't good last night. I said something I shouldn't have said. Is she going to tell this, or are they going to tell, okay, well. And so to try not to do it for a week or 2 weeks or 10 years. Let's do it, hopefully get to a day maybe, or half an hour. And we talk to the right person, we give ourselves, that I'm just going to let it go. Because at the end of the day, does this really matter to me? Is it true that they could have happened, Do I care?
Or can you change it?
Yeah. What can I do about it? Yeah.
You said it. Yeah. It's out there. Yeah. What that person does with it, you really have no control over.
Exactly.
And if that relationship's important, well, they come to me, right? So it's a lot of just individual, we work together, just like having a conversation with your best buddy, but it's just asking the questions so you're like, right.
Yeah.
And once you get it, I find we get it.
Yeah.
Amazing. I have a question. So I know you had said a little bit earlier that when you're like lying in bed the first thing in the morning and you're having all these thoughts in your head, what do I have to do? And I know we both struggle with that. We get up early, like been up at 5:30, just like thinking all the things I have to do. And I know it's not a quick fix with that, but how do you explain that to somebody who has a typical brain? How do you explain like all these thoughts coming into your head that I know a lot of people are like, well, why can't you just sleep? Why don't you just, you'll deal with it? Or like, how, is there an easy way? And I'm probably not, but is there some way to explain that better to the typical brains out there?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to do that. I do like the word analysis paralysis. I think that it does it's impactful, I feel, if they're listening, I guess, for sure. But it's hard, it really is difficult for someone who just is relaxed in their brain all the time, that falls asleep in 10 seconds.
Yes.
Like you,
Is there an overstimulation for that? Is there like a
Yes.
medical term for like someone who fell asleep
Oh
in
my
3
gosh.
seconds? And I wanna
annoying
murder
is
them?
what
Like,
like I have friends that can fall asleep like in the hammock at our fire pit, and I'm like, I can't, like, I am so envious of you, like I just love that you
and then you're
can
like,
do
that's
that.
it.
Yeah.
I have sleepy kilosis. Like,
Yeah, that's what it is. Sleepy closis now, because that's what I feel
I want to
when
murder you because you
everyone
got
is
to
sleeping.
sleep.
But
Or
there's
sleep.
scientific evidence now, and I think that, you know, I would, you know, instead of maybe trying to explain it, like is memes on TikTok and stuff, and there is, but it's just that it's.
Yeah, I'll send you
I-
a meme later.
I
How's
do
that?
send that to my husband a lot. Like, this is what my brain's going through right now,
Yeah.
but it's so hard to tell somebody what you're actually dealing with
Right.
inside this little brain, like every day, and trying to control situations.
But I understand, like so
Yes.
people do understand it, that
And
you
that's-
don't, but it's true, knowing, because we were just talking about that, having you be able to explain to whatever,
Yes.
but it's just like, I look like I'm calm, but I'm about to rip the hair out of my head, and we're driving to the mountains for a fun day.
Yeah.
I know.
And I, you know, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? What is good, you know? And
I want to change my attitude, but I
Yeah.
can't right now because I'm
Yes.
just so mad, and I'm really
Yes.
trying, but
yeah,
So do you think it would be beneficial to have like, you know, coaching for people who don't have ADHD, who
a
live with
partner.
someone?
Yeah.
Like the Al-Anon of ADHD.
yeah.
yes.
Or couples too, yeah. So I've had a few couples come because I've had, you know, four times with a client, and then, you know, that is it's hugely impactful. So just to have them understand where they're coming from, like a little
Yes.
bit better, to ask the question, you know, because a lot of times, like, it's like, why does it matter? Like, this is who I am. So it's to not, we just don't have to explain it, you know, because, and I've had the same struggles, there's no question, but like, this is just who I am. So then, okay, well, I'm going to get you this, or let's turn the light on, or we need the fan on. Like, do we have to beg for, and I'm not saying that this is happening in your relationship, but why do we have to keep explaining it? This is who I am. Like, so this is what I need, you know, like I usually have my earplugs in, my eye mask on, and I just want us to be unapologetically brilliant, because we're fucking amazing human beings that are kind and considerate and good parents and good friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so who cares if we can't sleep at night? What are we going to do about it? There's an awesome podcast called Sleep Magic.
Ooh,
And
okay.
Jessica Porter, I love Jessica Porter. We should tag her in this too, because she's fantastic. But there's a few different ones. There's a Carissa, there's a guy too, because I know with the hearing stuff too, with this noise sensitivity, a podcast can turn someone off. If you hear the like gick in their noise, in their, you know, that can turn you right off. But if you find the right person, even with, you know, audio podcasts, everything, but it's kind of a hypnosis, which hypnosis I think can be misunderstood. You do have control over everything you do. You're not going to jump around like a monkey unless you're kind of enjoying the process anyway, right?
Yeah.
So if I just wanted to say that, because I find hypnosis is been a game changer for me. And so she just does these sleep hypnosises, but it's basically just getting you to this state of relaxation where you aren't thinking about anything else. Like, she's like, you have this moment right now. This is where you can't control anything right now. You just need to put it all on the floor right now and give yourself this time. Come home to yourself. Come home to your breath. And she just gets you in this state of relaxation where it can just help. And I need someone talking for me to turn my brain off.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's tips for that. Like you've heard, you know, of course, if you need to have a thing beside you, it does work to get up and write things down.
Yeah.
It does work. So what do we need to do? I know I need to do this and this before bed. A lot of times I won't do it. And then I'm laying there and I'm like, oh, shit, okay. I got to get up and do it. Like, I just know that I'm, right? So it's just knowing what you need to do sometimes to, like, take the garbage out. Like, if I'm going to feel like crap for 5 hours because I know I need to take the garbage out or vacuum the house, but I know it'll just take me 10 minutes, then just do it, right? So it's just kind of that light bulb going on, and then even having a body double helps, right? Like, I'm going to vacuum. You want to vacuum? Like, I've had clients where they're cleaning their house while we're having a session because they won't, it's very difficult for them to do it on their own. They say it, we talk about it, but it's about actions. It's about doing things. And how do you feel after?
Yeah, well, why not?
Mm-hmm. Like,
Actually,
how many?
yeah.
How
I
many?
started doing that with my kids. We cleaned the room, and I was like, now I want you both to think about how your brain feels right now. And they're like, oh, it feels pretty good. Remember this feeling.
Yeah.
And I would maybe even go a step further, and this is what I learned at school too, with the emotion. Like, how do you feel in your body? Like, when your room's a mess, like, how do you're, you know, so a better example, I guess, for me to say is if you've had that flash anger and you've said something, like that zing or that ick, right? Like that feeling where it's just like, fuck, I wish I didn't say that or do that, right? Like, but then you did something for someone at the grocery store. Like, a lot of times I'm just like, yeah, I'm a nice person, whatever, you know, but to, you know what, I didn't need to do that. I did, you know, I feel good about that and feel that in that same spot. So once that muscle memory starts to replace in your body, like how did it feel when you didn't get that assignment not done? A week goes by. Those kids at school, they know that assignment's due.
Oh, yes.
In high school, right? Like, and they know, and then they just don't do it, and we just don't do it, and we don't. Some people can't understand why we just don't do it, because it's not something you want to do. You don't really know how to do it, so that brick wall goes up. Like, we just can't do it. Like, so we need a body double, or we need a one-on-one, but we need to know what to ask for, and to know what maybe caused that at the beginning, so you're not that, because you're feeling like crap for a whole week. You can't sleep because of this one assignment. And it would have maybe taken a half an hour. So it's like, to understand that, and to I don't want to tolerate that. So that's the motivation to get it done. And it's weird, when we think of motivation, we think candy or spa day or whatever, you know, whatever motivates, but just that feeling after motivates. Like,
That's so
well, something new for me that I've started doing in my like little wave of like, you know, life changes and ADHD up and downs is I'm realizing and accepting and trying to not guilt myself for my down days. When I have down days, I'm just taking them. Unapologetically saying, I'm yuck right now. And then when I come out and I have good days, I'm doing the most I possibly can on those good days before I fall back into a bad day.
Why do you think we feel we're not supposed to have bad days?
Well, I feel like that's just ADHD guilt.
The laziness, the like, I'm not doing anything I need to be doing. And
And the comparison, do you guys compare to other people? This person's probably out on their bike. They've already gotten, you know, they're probably doing, like, do you compare?
I don't do so much comparison, but I just have a lot of self-guilt for not being a productive human all the time. So, but I'm in therapy and in understanding my ADHD and my life changes and stuff. I'm having a better understanding of my cycle and my ups and down days, and letting go of the guilt of having a yuck day. It's okay.
Awesome. And that's a one step that I would recommend to people, you know, say, if I do this, I'm going to vacuum, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to watch a movie and I'm not going to feel guilty about it, or I'm going to read. Easier said than done, like, because I'll still do that, and I still can't seem to do it. Like, so actually, I think one week I decided that I'm going to try and do nothing and try and be okay with it. I think that was like one of my therapists and I tried.
That's
and
challenging.
Oh my gosh, even to do that for an hour is really like, so but isn't that an interesting mind? Like, just to try and do, it's not that you're doing nothing, because you're doing something, like, but even if you just get out of bed and have a shower, like, can that be enough? You know what I mean? Like, when we're beating ourselves up and we're buried in a hole up to here of this bombardment of negative, and, you know, definitely men, like adult men, not being diagnosed as a kid and feeling this way and not talking about it and feeling wrong, and then potentially on the other side of having kids and what that might look like, they've got that guilt too and stuff.
Oh, for sure.
So I really would, you know,
they probably have the task paralysis worse than anyone, right? Because the guilt of not going to work and providing for their family forces them to do that, and then I feel like they come home and they're just like,
they're so done.
Like so done, because they did the one thing that they knew they absolutely had to do that day, and then can't handle anything else after that. And that's because they have no idea that it's ADHD or...
Right. Yeah. And a big part of this too, again, this is another big conversation, but self-medicate. We can self-medicate.
And that's what, we had talked, I think, a couple podcasts ago about addiction and ADHD and how prevalent that is. And you look back and you're like, oh, if so-and-so knew this back then and went a different path instead of trying to just go for the alcohol to get that rush or whatever they're doing. it would have been life-changing for everyone involved.
And self-medicating.
No.
Talk to a doctor.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, again, let's talk to a doctor.
Yeah. I think that was amazing because we can continue on forever, I feel, and learn so much from you.
Yeah.
But
We should definitely do a part 2, I think.
we need to do a part 2 and
Maybe filter some questions
Yes,
from our
ask-
listeners to see what they specifically want to hear
send
more
in,
about.
Send in your questions. Exactly. We want to hear what you guys want to hear about ADHD because I know there's a lot out there, a lot of misinformation, but we need tips, tricks, making our lives a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Well,
much.
thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
I'm so happy to be
This
here.
is
And this is so
amazing.
great.
We should
Thank you very
definitely do it
much,
again.
Yes. Okay.
I would love to.
Perfect.
And
Love to.
please comment on our sound because
Oh, yeah.
this is our second guest experience with
Yes.
a new sound system. First one, we were told thumbs down.
Great information, but thumbs down with the sound.
Yeah.
We heard you.
Okay, bye guys.